أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وذكرنا ما نسينا وفقهنا في ديننا واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. My dear brothers and sisters, the believer is required to learn and ask about his practice before doing the action. It's really important that not just to blindly follow without understanding, to protect his deen, to perfect his ibadah, to avoid mistakes that cannot be corrected, and to avoid that wasting his effort, and also to be rewarded more of his action and to maximize the benefit from what he's doing. It's very, very important that we remind ourselves and learn about our deen. Some scholars travel for distance, miles, traveling for months, just to clarify and get the other narration of the narration that already they have it. And they're eager to learn about their deen. And for us, that's a loss of our concern. Especially in the era of technology and everything's under our fingerprint. And everything's under our tips. But still, we have lack of knowledge. And the sources of knowledge are countless and are special, where in a blink of eye you could really open yourself for many good material. Of course, there's some bad material, but generally speaking, when talking about those that want to learn, but we are not actually appreciating that. It's very important that we remind ourselves about our deen. And this, not just halaqatu ilm. This is not just a sitting of seeking knowledge. No. This is an act of worship. This is ibadah. This is one of the most important acts of worship. Now, if somebody would say, you know what? I want to choose between praying or learning of my deen. The voluntary prayer or learning of my deen. Learning your deen, it's more important than just, praying. Because this is must. And even if the knowledge that you know it is good to get a reminder. And there are many hadith about the majlis ilm, that just a sitting upon a knowledge better than years of worship. So it's very important that to consider that from that angle. So learning, it is essential. And this is our deen. As it started with the word iqra, read, recite, which is a means of learning. So it's very important, my dear brothers and sisters, that we make the maximum effort to perfect our ibadah. And one of the great ways to perfect our ibadah, to learn for our deen. The Prophet ﷺ, he was in one day given halaqah. And 3 men entered the halaqah. One of them found a gap and he sat there. The other one sat behind, and the third one left. After the halaqah over, the Prophet ﷺ told him, how about I tell you about the 3 men? هل أنبئكم عن الثلاثة النفر. The first one, the one he came forward, he said, أقبل فأقبل الله عليه. He came forward and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came forward to him. It's metaphorically, you know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him according to his action. وأما الثاني فاستحيا فاستحيا الله منه. He felt shy and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala similarly he gave him that, and that again it's a metaphorically. أما الثالث فأعرض الله عنه. The third one rejected and Allah rejected him. So we have to understand that when you come forward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come forward to you. When you come forward to learn the knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come forward to you. What a great pleasure that angels that surrounding those studying the knowledge. إن لله ملائكة سيحين في العلم يمرون على حلق العلم ومجالس الذكر. To those, they are there and their duties to go around wherever there are people sitting learning about their deen. And at the end of the day, they will go and they presented those names. And while they are presented the names, they mentioned so and so. They said that person came for a different need. إنه جاء لحاجة. So Allah, after they mentioned all their names, He said, I will make you witness that I shall forgive them. But they said, oh, but that person, he came for different purposes. In the hadith al-Qudsi, Allah said, هم القوم لا يشقى جليسهم. Those are type of people, the one with them, it will never be prevented from the reward, which in the literal meaning, لا يشقى بهم جليسهم, he will never be misguided and he will never suffer, which means he will have the tabat in deen. The one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect him and Allah will forgive him just because if he was with them, let alone the person that came forward by his heart. It's very, very important, my dear brothers and sisters, that we keep that in mind. Today, I will give just a little introduction and I will ask you, and then we'll open the floor that you ask me. Okay? So now when you say Sawm and Siyam, that's a term, correct? Most of the terms has three realities. حقيقة لغوية وحقيقة شرعية وحقيقة عرفية. The three are reality. The one is from what? Linguistics. You know, from the language. What's the language considered that word? And then حقيقة شرعية. What شرعية? Religiously, like what's the reality in the religious? What in the concept of the scholars? When they said the word, what they mean it? Okay, and the third one, the third concept, from which angle? From the culture, or with a common understanding or day-to-day language. So there are three concepts for every word that you can talk about it. So now, what are the concepts about Siyam? ما هي الحقيقة العرفية وما هي الحقيقة الشرعية وما هي الحقيقة اللغوية? There are three concepts. And we need to understand that, because all are related. There are kind of overlap, and sometimes there's a kind of a circle, there's one smaller than the other. So there's a bigger picture. Most of the time, when you look at the concept from the language, that's actually have a bigger, picture, and then there's another smaller picture when you look at from the Sharia. May I give you an example about Salah? When I say Salah, from the Lugha, from the Arabic language, will mean what? Prayer. like الصلاة على النبي, صلي عليهم, that mean ادعو لهم, pray for them. It's a mean supplications. But when the faqih, when the scholar of fiqh will say salah, the term is different from the language term. You know? So it has a different meaning. And from urf has a different meaning. Not necessarily always the urf has different meaning, by the way. But like something like that. And that's important. I'm just giving you an example to see when you dive deep in the fiqh, that open your mind. And when you open your mind, you open your heart. And actually give you a clarity, which is really important. I'm telling you. And I want you actually, to be eager to learn. I'm not just, questioning you to testing like, your knowledge or something. No, I want you to see like how the Islamic fiqh and Islamic, teaching are really something valuable that we should really seek. The word hayawan, for example, you know what? Like the word hayawan, an animal. Like, is that like, clear for you? Huh? Clear for you. But when you say, if somebody saying there's no animal in the house, and his younger brother in the house, he was truthful or was a liar? So what do you say? See, so what do you think? So he was truthful or not? Is a human animal or not? It is. From social animal, it is an animal, yes. Like from biological like an aspect, it is an animal, correct? So, but when you're talking in a day-to-day language, you are not talking about that term. You get the point? So we are not saying in the normal day you consider the human is an animal, but he's an animal from the language's part. Okay? Yes. So there is a term that's from the language that includes even a human or animal. But now when you come to talk about the fiqh aspect, most time we said the animal, everything's but human. Human is not animal. Yes? And when Allah will talk about that, it's different ways, different terms. And now, when you talk the urf, when you talk about the culture, it depends. Sometimes in some places is when they say animal, they mean only the donkey. In some cultures. In some culture, when they say the animal, they mean only horse. It's depending on that locality. You get the point? So we have to understand those terms. And that's really important. تقول حقيقة لغوية, حقيقة شرعية, حقيقة عرفية. Now I give you the introduction. So what is the حقيقة اللغوية? What siyam means from the angle if you're looking at the language. مطلق الإمساك, الكف. Yes? To abstain of doing something. To stay away from something. To hold yourself from doing something. And with that, you will interpret what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Maryam when Zakaria was commanded. What was commanded? ألا تكلم الناس ثلاث ليال سوية. Okay? And then Maryam later, she said, إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا. So she made siyam. But she now says she made siyam, which means what? It's the same siyam we're talking about it? No. But why I'm differentiating? Because that, from which angle? From the linguistic, angle. From the lugha. So the lugha that mean إني نذرت للرحمن صوما. She's not gonna fast. No. She's not gonna fast. She is going to be silent, not talk. And she explained it. فنكلم اليوم إنسيا. Do not say, oh, they're fasting not to talk. It doesn't mean that. No. For that position at that time, she's not going to talk. Okay. And why? That's a different reason. But we have to understand that's not the term of siyam. Now, when Allah said, يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ, O believers, fasting were described for you. In this term now, fasting, is that similar to other one? No. What's make it different when this fasting of Maryam and this fasting? This is حقيقة شرعية. Okay? This is حقيقة شرعية. Is it حقيقة for صيام and عرف? Could be, yes. واحد يجي والله أنا صايم طول اليوم. معناه ما أكلتش. Yes, but doesn't mean he's really fasting from dawn to sunset. Yes, he will come to his wife and say, oh, I'm fasting all the day. So I'm hungry. I have not eaten anything yet. Okay, so we have to look at the term in the context. So we have حقيقة لغوية وحقيقة شرعية وحقيقة عرفية. Am I clear? Now, what is the حقيقة شرعية for صيام? What is the definition of صيام? And why we need to define it? Why? Okay. And actually, how many ways to define things? How many ways to define? When you want to define, there are three ways. إما تعرفه بالحد أو بالرسم أو بالضد. First time you heard these terms? Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala define as-sirat al-mustaqim or not? Allah has defined it. As-sirat al-mustaqim. So, when you say mustaqim, straight, that means the shortest distance between A to B. That's a definition. Correct? So, I made a definition by itself. The word mustaqim, straight. You know how I saying something straight, so it's not crooked. That's the shortest way to reach to your goal. Okay? So I define the word mustaqim itself, what means. Okay. Now, when you read the next ayah, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, that's the definition. You give description what is, but actually you have not defined the mustaqim itself. But you say it is the similar path of those. So you have not defined it as a given description of the word itself. You give a description for something related to it. Okay? That's the second description. The third description, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. You define it with the opposite. So now, this is the Sirat al-Mustaqim. How I would know this Sirat al-Mustaqim? By knowing the opposite. So it is opposite of this. What's Sirat al-Mustaqim? It is opposite of this. So that's a ways when you define anything. Either you define by its own description, or the description of something related to it as part of it, or by the opposite of it. That's the three ways. Now, how you define siyam? What is fasting? What's the element that's related to it? You can put the description of it. إذن ما هو الصيام? When you make a definition, you have to make it جامع مانع. جامع مانع. Is the first time you heard about this term? Huh? جامع أن يجمع أفراد الشيء فلا يخرج منه ما هو منه، ومانع يمنع غيره من الدخول فيه فلا يدخل فيه ما ليس فيه. I repeat again. When you make a definition, it has to be جامع مانع. جامع مانع. That's جامع. That's describe everything that related to it, to the point that you're not missing anything that part of it of being included in it. مانع, that you exclude. So the first one, include. This one, exclude. Exclude all others that's not part of it, and do not include anything that should not be included. That's a jami'un mani'un. Otherwise, it's not going to be definition. Okay? So, what's the definition of siyam? شرعا. Very simple. هو الكف عن المفطرات من طلوع الفجر الصادق إلى مغيب الشمس بنية. Very simple. So I describe it, it's a clear, and I didn't miss any element that's important as a definition. So now if these definitions happen, what we called about that fasting? We called it, yes, تعريف شرعي, but what we called it? صحيح, أو we call it مقبول, صيام المقبول. صحيح. Still there's difference between صحة and قبول. Okay, we go back. So what's the definition? 3 elements has to be mentioned. First one, al-kaf, to abstain completely from anything that called as muftar. So we should know what is muftar. See the word muftar? Yes. Then that's, it's important. إذن كف النفس عن المفطرات شهوتي البطن والفرج وما يتعلق بهما. إذن الكف عن جميع المفطرات, to abstain from all of things that might break your fast. We call it muftar. من طلوع الفجر الصادق, from the beginning of the Fajr الصادق, the true Fajr. Is that right? There's a true Fajr and there's false one? Yes. حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. That's in Surah Al-Baqarah. So من طلوع الفجر الصادق إلى مغيب الشمس. When just a moment that the sun set, that's it. Is it set completely or just reach the horizon? So مغيب المغرب, مغيب الشمس, is that has to be completely, is there differences? Yes. So when you look at the scientific sunset, it's different from the Islamic definition of sunset, where the time of Maghrib, with the difference of 2 to 3 minutes. So until قرص الشمس يختفي, until the actual sun will sink completely. Okay? So that's what we call it مغيب الشمس. So from the true Fajr until the sunset with the intention. Let's say you fulfill the first condition and the second condition, but without intention. Is that acceptable or not? No. One time, I was extremely busy to the point that I forget to drink and eat. And around 1 at night, I was going to my friend to give him condolence for his father, one of my students. Then they give me the cup of tea, was small like a cup, and I hold it. He looked at me, he said, "What's wrong?" And I was looking at him. And I looked back to the tea. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Nothing, but I just now remembered that's the first thing that's going to come to my stomach from Fajr time. I wished if I made the intention that day." But before Fajr, I left home, and until 1 at night, I forget to drink or eat. You could imagine how it was busy. But subhanAllah, literally. But that is count? No. Do you have to have intention or not? Okay. Let's talk about intention. Do you need it? Is a must? So is that must the intention or not? It is must. Okay, how about that when the Rasulullah one time in the morning, he asked his wife, "Is there anything to eat?" She said, "No." He said, "Then I'm going to fast." إِذَا nasum. So he made the intention in the day. Is that fine? So he started the day with no intention. And then during the day, he made the intention. Is that fine? Aha. This is very important. Do not take fiqh from the hadith. Take fiqh from the fiqh. Because now when you come across to this hadith, yeah, I could do that even in Ramadan. No, you can do that in a voluntarily fasting. But in Ramadan, there's another hadith, لا صيام لمن لم يبيت. There's no fasting for somebody never made the intention at night. So the intention has to be at night. When? When at night? When? So normally, the intention should be attached with the action. But Allah made it easier for us for the fasting. Does not have to be attached at the beginning of the action. It's better that to make it at the time of Fajr. But it is permissible to make it from the time of the sunset. When it's confirmed that is the next day is Ramadan. So now I have the intention to make Isha. Does that count? No, does not count. Does not count as the condition that for Isha. I might get reward for my intentions, of course, but does not count as a Isha until the time of Isha enter and until I'm doing the action. إذن هي القصد للشيء مقرونا بالفعل. It does not count unless being attached to the actions. Okay? I have the intention to pray Fajr tomorrow. I might get reward for that intention, but does not count. Okay? So it has to be attached with the action. However, in Siyam, in Ramadan, for the fasting, Allah made it easier for us. As long as in a point of the night that is confirmed that the next day is Ramadan, you made the intention, it's count. Back home, sometimes they delay announcement. And one day, they announce Ramadan maybe at 2 o'clock at night. And some people are slept. They wake up in the morning, they didn't know. There's one neighbor, he was talking to his neighbor. He saw him in the morning lighting his cigarette and smoking. He told him, "It is Ramadan." He said, Huh? What you have said? Now, what do you think about this person? Now he get to know that it's Ramadan. Huh? This person, according to Fiqh Imam Malik, he has to make kafara, 60 days for that. Because he's intentionally, after he heard that it's Ramadan, he continues smoking. He pretend that he's not. Huh? It doesn't. If he wake up without knowing, he just make up for one day. Yes? And he still have to make intention in the daytime. He has to make intention. And he has to fast لحرمة الشهر, but it does not count. Does not count. He has to make up for that day if he does not know. Yes, he has to continue fasting, but it's not count. لحرمة الشهر. He cannot say, you know what? Oh, I already break my fast. No. You have to take it seriously to respect the time and the month. It has its value. Yes, we understand that it's by mistake that you had break your fast, but you know what? Continue fasting and compensate and that later on. So the intention has to be any part of the night before. Now, my question to you. Let's say somebody, he does not know. And he would say, if tomorrow is Ramadan, I'm going to fast. If it's not Ramadan, I'm going to break my fast. And it's happened that tomorrow is Ramadan. Is that count for him or not? He made that intention before going to bed, and he said, if it's tomorrow, I cannot wait until they confirm. If it's tomorrow Ramadan, I'm going to fast. If it's not Ramadan, I'm going to break my fast. Is that count? No, does not count. Intention has to be firm. لا ينفع التردد في النية. You cannot say, you know what? I'm going to pray Dhuhr in my heart. I'm going to pray Dhuhr if it's Dhuhr time. If it's not yet, I'm going to repeat it. Even if it's happened that you pray on time, you have to repeat it. You have to make sure the times enter. You cannot hesitate. No, you cannot. Okay, wait for it. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another scenario. At the end of Ramadan, I'm not going to wait for the announcement for the Eid. But I'm saying if tomorrow is Ramadan, I'm going to continue fasting. And if not, if it's Eid, I'm going to break my fast. And it's happened that tomorrow is Ramadan. Is that count or not? Is that count or not? أحسنت يا عبد الرحمن. هذا استصحاب, حكم الاستصحاب. There's a difference. In that case, it's count. How come? When I'm hesitating at the beginning of the month, it does not count. And now I'm hesitating. I'm doubting. At the end of the month, is it counting? How? For two main reasons. The first reason, that's called istishabul hal, to carry on the same situation. Is the previous day, in the beginning of Ramadan, was fasting or not? Was not fasting. Was normal days, not days of Ramadan. That's a difference. But when it comes to the Eid time, the previous day was Ramadan. So I'm continuing the same situation, the same case. That's what's called istishabul hali. You get it? So there's a difference. It's not the same case. Second, the first intention, the previous intention is still active. It still count. Because I don't have to make intention for every single day. As long as the first intention there, and I didn't change it, and I didn't omit it, or neglect it, or cancel it. So I still carry the first intention, then it still count. We have one rule. Most of the scholars consider كل ما يلزم تتابعه يكتفى فيه بنية واحدة. Everything that must to pray it consecutively, or to pray it continuously without stopping, continuously, it's enough for it one intention. I'll give you an example, a simple example. Dhuhr prayer are 4 units. Do you have to make intention in every single unit? Huh? In the first, before I start, that's enough. Unless I rejected my intention, then the salah will be nullified. So, as long as you keep my intention, then the intention is count for the entire month. So it's different situation. Okay, now somebody fainted before Maghrib prayer, and he woke up after Fajr prayer, where his mind was absent and the time that he has to make the intention. So he missed the time when he's making intention. He should fast the next day or not? If he fasted, does that count for him or not? Tell me. Okay. He said I can continue. Okay? Oh, it depends. So if it's the beginning of Ramadan, that's different from any days of Ramadan. It's the beginning of Ramadan, then the next day does not count because he missed the time where he should make the intention. Before Maghrib and then after Fajr. And then the next day, he had to fast even if it's Ramadan, but does not count because he missed the intention part. But if in other days, not the days of Ramadan, and he want to continue fasting, he still can fast and that count. If he want, it's that count. According to the majority of scholars. Some scholars like Imam Shafi'i in his one of his opinion, no, it does not count. Because he made the condition has to make the intention every single night. For him, it does not matter is the first day or a second day or third day. For every time you have to make intention. You see, the condition of the intention, that's really important. If you like, actually we can focus on that in the entire month of Ramadan, talking about the rules of intention. I have a course, it's 40 hours, about the rules of intention. Al-umuru bimaqasidiha. This is one of the 5 high maxims of Sharia. And I had a course for 40 hours, and it's recorded, in Arabic and English, about this subject, about just the intention. So, if you like, we can actually explore that because it's really important. After studying that, you will feel how the Islamic teaching is rich and how actually important to learn the levels of intentions. Is there any levels of the action of the heart? Yes, there are levels. Where it sometimes count, sometimes not count. When you maximize the benefit, when you can combine the intention or you cannot, what's the conditions of you, what's the condition of the conditions, what's the action that required intention, which one not required intention, what are the types of intentions. There are different types? Yes. They're not the same. They're not the same. How I make all my actions is count for me, in how I get the reward of all of that, whatever I do. So it's a really huge subject, which is really important. For me, I count it as a half of the deen, because there are action of the heart and action of the body. So if you want, we can actually explore that in Ramadan and focus on that topic. Do you think it's a good topic to talk about? Try to make it simple, not like difficult, inshallah, but it's really important. in very rare material talking about this, these rules and these topics. Now, in the beginning of Ramadan, do I should say, oh Allah, this is the month of Ramadan, I'm going to fast, Allah accept from me? I should do that? Is that the intention? Some people think of that, but this is not. No. This is not the intention. Yes, you can still make dua every night when you break your fast, when you fast, but that's not the intention. The intention, it's what you put in your heart, not what you put in your tongue. وَالْقَصْدُ لِلشَّيْءِ بِنِيَّةٍ أَتَتْ بِنِيَّةٍ مَحَلُّهَا الْقَلْبُ ثَبَتْ. Where is the place of the intention? Is the heart. Am I allowed to say the intention out loud? Huh? Yeah, in 2 times, let's allow. Which actually better to say it out loud. One of them, if you perform Hajj or Umrah, it's لبيك اللهم حجة or لبيك اللهم عمرة. That's what you make. The other time, for somebody called mustankih, that's a person that constantly having doubts. If it's help him to remove the doubt, to say it out loud, it is permissible in his case, maybe even recommended. Yeah, so let's say there's a doubt. Did I make the intention? No, did I make it that clear? So somebody has like an OCD or has a condition that's always doubting. That person, if it's help him to say the intention out loud, we say to him, go for it, that's fine. They call it mustankih, kathir al-waswasa. That's a term. What's a term? Mustankih. That's fine for him. Has nothing to do with nikah, the word mustankih, So, the one constantly has doubt. That person, yes, if it's help him to say the intention out loud, he should say it. Before I continue, and be honest, we just starting talking about some of the rules of Ramadan. And this is like, to be honest, I'll tell you something, this is shallow level for me, shallow. Who had heard now something new and learned something new today? Even talk about fasting. Thank you. So we need to learn, yes. We need to learn. We need to understand the deen. And we think that we learned. No, we should learn and continue learning. And that's really important. I told you about the intention. I just intention that I have a course for 40 hours. This is just the intention. And we think, oh, it's fine. But now, even now, I told you the intention that's in the heart, yes? But actually, scholars, they said no, for opinion. Some of them said in the heart, but it's connected with the mind. Some of them, they said in the mind, connected to the heart. Some of them said purely in the mind. Some said it's purely in the heart. So there are four opinions. In each one of them has multiple evidence why they are saying that. It's a beautiful, when you look at the scholars, how they even study anatomy and they study something you be proud how they utilize the knowledge, the simple knowledge they have it to reach to those theories, and there's ideas. Nowadays, it is something new being discussed now. Now, there's something new they are talking about. Some of them, when they mentioned that there are some cells that's of thinking in the heart, and just they discovered a few months ago. There is a recipient, cells in the heart that actually keep having memory. And that memory of the heart, even stronger than the memory in the mind. And Allah said in the Quran, أَمْ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. About having the heart, they have heart that could make them understand. SubhanAllah. So now there's not much time that left. And I'm gonna leave the floor for you for your questions. Yes.
Fasting while traveling. Assalamu alaikum. So quick question on fasting while traveling. So let's say if you are traveling and going back home where like there are like if you fast for all the time it would be 31 days. So let's say here it starts on
Okay.
say 28.
So
When should we miss the fast?
we have hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, "الصوم يوم يصوم الناس, والفطر يوم يفطر الناس, والأضحى يوم يضحي الناس." أو كما قال. That the fasting when the people are fasting, and the breaking fast when the people is breaking fast, and the adha, the second Eid, when the people all like sacrificing. So this hadith, we can extract from hadith many meanings. One of that, try to seek unity as much as you can, even to the point that you leave your opinion that even stronger to the other opinion that people united with it, even having less strength, as long as that acceptable opinion. Am I clear? So that's one of the meaning, because the fasting when the people are fasting, you should really seek the unity. That's really important. Because what happens sometimes is some people say, "Oh, this is my opinion, and my opinion is stronger." Okay, that's fine, but that will create divisions. What's bringing unity, it's more important than your opinion. Imam Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he had a different opinion from Imam Uthman ibn Affan at that time, and he was a Khalifa when they were going to the trip of Hajj, where Sayyidina Uthman, he might consider that because he is from the haram, from the people, I didn't have to shorten the prayer. So anyway, he prayed without shortening the prayer, and Abdullah Mas'ud, he said, "No, this is the sunnah of the Rasul that to shorten and combine." So anyway, when the salah arrived and they called for the adhan and for salah, he joined them. People came to him after. They said to him, "Have you changed your mind? Have you changed your opinion?" He said, "No. Wallahi la in ad'a ra'yi khayru min ad'a al-jama'ah. It's better for me to leave my opinion than to leave my jama'ah. To leave, the unity and the community." So now, let's say I started fasting in this community, and then I traveled to other community, and it's happened that my fasting at the end of the day became like 31 days. Do we have to continue fasting that one? Yes. It's not by considering that the month has 31 days. No. The month most time has 29 days and rarely has 30 days. Most of the months, the lower months, are 29 actually. Few of them just 30. Okay? However, if the beginning of the month was differ, where could be there is a probability that the beginning was not as accurate as supposed to be, because you know what, there's a chance that could be, yes, especially if the previous month was counted 29 days. Then there is a possibility that the 30th day that will come, and even the sky clear, and we cannot even see the moon. Okay. So in the case of somebody who was traveling, if there is a probability that his starting it could be not accurate, then even the 31st day in that next locality that they decided not the day of breaking fast, he should, fast that day with them. And it's happened with me one time. Because I started the Ramadan in one place, and where they started earlier compared with other communities, and then it's happened that when it moved to other places, they have not seen the moon and decide to continue for another day, which could be. So anyway, make it easier for you. Make it easier for you. You start with the community, that you started with what you want to trust them. It's a word of trust. You start with them and you break with your fast with the other community if you trust them. However, if it's happened that you fasted 28 days, make up for 1 day. Break your fast and make up for 1 day. It's happened 29, you're good. It happened 30, you're good. 31, in one condition. If the start was doubtful. That's the only case that you can fast at 31. Otherwise, do not.
So I meant like fasting while on, let's say I'm going to another country, and then what about fasting on the aeroplane? Like what and time zone is constantly changing. So what time zone do you
It's fine.
use?
Okay. If you choose to fast while traveling, if you choose, because that's a rukhsah. And there's a debate between scholars, is it better to break fast or better to fast? Majority of scholars says it's better to fast. Okay? Because there is one type of rukhsah called khilaful awla. Because some people think, oh, rukhsah, then I have to take it. إن الله يحب أن تؤتى رخصه كما تؤتى عزائمه. Brother, this rukhsah, for rukhsah al-masnuna, this hadith, is according to rukhsah masnuna. The rukhas, the permission are 4 levels. Rukhsah wajibah, it's must to consider. And there is rukhsah masnuna, it's better to consider. And rukhsah mubaha, it's equal, you take it or not, same level. And rukhsah khilaf al-awla, it's a permission but better not to consider. So there are 4 levels of rukhsah. There is a book, was printed in the 1919 something, called الرخص الفقهية. The Imam called Al-Rahmuni. His name Al-Rahmuni. Rahmuni. The Imam is Al-Rahmuni. It's almost like 700 pages about Al-Rukhas Al-Fiqhiyya. Just about the Rukhas. The definition of that. So that's all Rukhsa, they mean permission, okay, I have to take it. No. For fasting, majority of scholars, they said, if you can fast, it's better to fast. Okay? But the other opinion is still there. Now, if you choose to fast, it might that shorten your day, it might prolong your day. You choose it. So now if you're coming from Middle East, coming to Canada, you gain some hours. You became shorter for you. And if you choose, the opposite, you make it longer for you. You're following the sun, you make it longer for you. So it might even happen that you fast sometimes 24 hours, So it depends, and you can estimate, and on all both situation Fajr or Maghrib, just make sure it's already happened. So it's better in that case to be on the safe side and make sure you increase a little bit to you be in the safe side. Okay. Yes, you don't know. That's why you make ihtiyat. So you hold yourself, if you made the intention to fast, earlier. Just to be in a safe side. Do not wait until the last minute. Okay? That if you choose to fast. So you have to take ihtiyat. And if you have doubt, did I did it before or after? Then it's easier for you not to consider that day you have the permission or not. But I didn't find it any issue with me when I travel. I can, guess, and at the same time be in a safe side in both Fajr and Isha. Yes, it will be a little bit longer for you, but that's fine.
So what about the hadith, ليس من البر الصوم في السفر? There is hadith about that?
There are many hadith. It's not only this. There are many hadiths about. So that's why I said that there is a debate with scholars. They said, is it better to fast, during traveling or not? Majority of fuqaha, they said it's better to fast. Okay? Okay, well, how about وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ? This is ayah. Tell me. So I don't want to go now and bring in all these details here and there, and this evidence here and there. But yes, this is a beautiful discussion between scholars when they bring in those hadiths. So it's our fiqh is very rich, and the scholars, when they look from all angles. Yes? No, no, they look at the hadith and the ayat, and sometimes there's a contradiction between the ayah and hadith, and sometimes between hadith to each other. Yes? Now some student of knowledge says, oh, this is authentic hadith, I should consider then. No, who said that? Who said that? Is that must to apply the authentic hadith all the time? No, because there are 4 conditions in order to apply the hadith. That's one of them has to be authentic. One of them has to be authentic. Second, ألا يعارضه ما هو أقوى منه. It's not contradict with the other stronger hadith or stronger evidence. Yeah? So that's a second condition. Let's say even the stronger evidence is the Quran. I didn't consider the hadith in this case. You get the point. So, ألا يعارض ما هو أقوى منه. The third one, أن يكون محكما. There are some hadith are authentic, are strong, but abrogated. There's another authentic hadith came after to omit this one. Let's say I found hadiths that I have to make wudu if I ate camel meat. There are hadiths like that. But there are other hadiths that's very specific that Jabir الله عنه said لا وضوء كان آخر عهد من صلى لا وضوء من مسته النار. That's a loss of the teaching of the Prophet that do not make wudu from what was touched by fire. So if there's a cooked meat, regardless a camel or not, there's no wudu from it. So the first one about making wudu from the after eating the camel meat, it's authentic hadith. But there's another authentic hadith came after. Then the first one be omitted. My dear brothers and sisters, we need to study. We need to study. We just not like taking and pick and choose. The fourth condition. What is the fourth condition? The fourth condition, أن تتضح دلالته. There are sometimes hadith, authentic, strong, and never contradict with other one, and muhkam, it's not abrogated, but it's debatable in the meaning of it. It could be understood differently. It's not like a hadith ظاهر الدلالة. It could be, having different interpretation. So that's where the scholars could be different. But there's another hadith, it's very clear, واضح الدلالة. So here, it's very important that we really study the fiqh from the fiqh. Again, that's another example he brought it. We don't study the fiqh from the hadith. Hadith is the tools of fiqh, and not the opposite. And inshallah, we'll even talk more about those ones later. And actually, it's maybe even good, but that's a decim. That's very rich and deep. Studying about the school of thought, how develop, and how their thought and how they differ. That's really amazing. I had a book about it called Fiqh al-Ikhtilaf in 140 pages. We talk about تاريخ الاختلاف, ضوابط مفهوم الاختلاف, أسباب الاختلاف, ضوابط الاختلاف, تاريخ الاختلاف, أدب الخلاف. That's amazing as well. If you want, we can address that. But you have to be ready for this. You want to do that, inshallah, maybe in Ramadan? Huh? Yeah? After Ramadan? Maybe in Ramadan is good. Because you know what? Your mind will be sharp. Yeah. البطنة تذهب الفطنة. When you make it full, you cannot concentrate. Which is true. Because the brain will put all the energy for that food to be digested. So that's why you feel like after meal, if you relax, you want to sleep, you'd have no energy. Because the brain will use all the energy for to make it ready for other meal. So maybe we can in Ramadan do it. But I think maybe heavy meal will be for you. It's a heavy one. Yeah, it's a needed. Yes. We still have for one or two questions. Do you have time for one or two
Yes.
questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam.
I have a quick question about one of the ayah.
We're talking about fasting.
Yeah, fasting ayah.
Okay.
Says وأتموا الصيام حتى الليل.
مش حتى الآية.
This is
Tum-
if not, I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
but just a second. That's good.
Yeah, but this is
But
kind
that's
of there
good.
is
Just a
some
second.
debate
Just good.
about.
جزاك الله خيرا. When it comes to the Quran, لا يرى القرآن بالمعنى. الحديث جاز أن يرى بالمعنى. When it comes to hadith, you can say it's the meaning of it. But when the Quran has to be literally, like exactly, because every letter is matter. So the ayah ثم أتم الصيام إلى الليل إلى الليل. There's no debate on this between Ahlul Sunnah. I know what you mean about that. The other groups, the others say, yeah, they consider that differently. Now, regardless anything, what is our reference to understand and interpret any verse in the Quran? The action of Prophet ﷺ. Because he is the one have better understanding of the Quran than any one of us, correct? And he is the one, he said, عجلوا الفطر. He said, ما زالت أمتي بخير ما أخروا السحور وعجلوا الفطور. That is, he advised us to haste to break your fast. And what he did, he broke his fast and himself when just the moment of sunset. Now, the action of Rasulullah, that's haddun fasil. This is a clear evidence. I didn't need to know anything. If somebody told me this ayah could be interpreted differently, but what's better interpretation? The action of Rasulullah. That should be ending any debate and any discussion. If you want to say different interpretation, then bring other evidence that's from the Prophet actions that will tell me that. Otherwise, it has no meaning. Because it's very important that we consider Quran and Sunnah as our sources على فهم السلف الصالح. That as our scholars in the Salaf al-Salih, how they understood that Quran and Sunnah. Now, what is better understanding? My understanding or understanding of Imam Malik and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, is Tabi'een and Sahaba. What's better understanding? My understanding or their understanding? Their understanding, because they are better in understanding the language, is better they understand the Seerah and the Sunnah, and they have witnessed the Prophet himself. Okay, now going back to the ayah. And that's what tells you the importance of the Arabic language. Are you awake? It's a little bit heavy to understand, but it's good. It's not heavy. Okay. Yeah. Let me explain. Yeah. Just a second. Just understand this. What is the meaning of the word ilah? What are the meanings of the word ilah? To, until, okay. See here. Okay. So ilah is just a word in Arabic. حرف جاء لمعنى, has multiple meanings. Multiple meanings. And that's where the secret in there. And which one of those that is meant in the ayah? We have a rule. إذا كان ما بعد إلى من جنس ما قبل إلى فهي للمعية. وإذا كان ما بعد إلى ليس من جنس ما قبل إلى فهي للغاية. Okay. So, ثم أتم الصيام إلى الليل. Then you should continue fasting till night or with the night until you start the night. Now, when we're fasting in the day or the night? The daylight or the night when we fast? The day. So the day is different from the night. So the word that after ilah is not from the same kind of the word before ilah. ليس من جنسها. لأن الليل ليس من جنس النهار. إذن now, therefore, ilah, it means until. Okay. When the other verse, for example, I will tell you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. You wash your arm until the elbow. Okay. Is with the elbow or until the elbow? With. Why with? Why the elbow is included? Okay, because they are all from the arm. What's after ila, from same kind of what's before ila, then it's included. And to confirm that understanding, the action of the Rasulullah in the hadith, فَغَسَلَ يَدَيْهِ حَتَّى شَرَعَ فِي عَضُدَيْهِ. So he washed his arm until he started his adud. So he included the elbow. Am I clear? Okay. So I give you two examples. One example that ila mean until, and the other example ila mean with. So now it's very clear. The action of Sallam clarified the matter. The language clarified the matter. So the one he will say that has to be go into the night until you break your fast has no basis. Not from the language, not from the action of the Prophet ﷺ. Is that clear? That should be in the debate. ثُمَّ أَتِمُّ الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. Let me now give you an example. There are two people making trade and business. He will tell him, I will give you the land from this wall till this tree. Is the tree included in the transaction or not? No, it's not included. Because the wall is different from the tree. Now, I will say, I will sell you the land from the tree to the tree. Is the tree included or not? It is included. Okay? So, this is very simple rule, but solve many issues and many problems. إذا كان ما بعد إلى من جنس ما قبل إلى فهي للمعية. وإذا كان ما بعد إلى ليس من جنس ما قبل إلى فهي للغاية. إذن ينتهي عندها. So now, when you're fasting, you fast in the daytime. So when the night arrives, just the moment arrive, you break your fast because إلى, it's a haddun fasil. This is until that moment, not go into that moment. That should be clear bidnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, we have to be clear about, our fiqh and our understanding. Our scholars, they did a great job. Wallah. And they clarify all matters. We have to appreciate that. And one of the ways of appreciate that we study, we learn. We want to learn. I'm telling you, one of my shuyukh, he was like putting time and effort, and he said, even if there is just a pillar, the masjid that was full of pillars. There's just one pillar in front of me, I want to continue teaching. But I could not do that. No. I don't want to waste my time. He has his own theory and own way of thinking. For me, we want every one of you that seeking, eager to seek the knowledge. We want to do some programs, like, monthly programs, daily programs, weekly programs. But if there's no interest and no effort, we're not going to do that. We're going to put our effort another time, other way. So we want to start, and we want a commitment of learning knowledge. And we have to admit it that we need to learn, because we need to appreciate our deen and learn about the beauty of our deen. That's where you go by clarity and you go by clear understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of understanding. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وذكرنا ما نسينا وفقهنا في ديننا واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية